Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Raptor X here with the Clean Gaming RX, and today we are back in Blender once again. And I'm going to go ahead and get started on today's video. I'm going to be modeling another tool. I'm not exactly sure. I think I'm probably going to go for a shovel today. Just a general purpose digging shovel with a pointed end. I've changed the way that OBS captures this, so hopefully it deals with the kind of washed out, um, kind of effect that kind of looked in yesterday's video. It's definitely a little bit more darker colors on my second monitor here, so hopefully that will take care of that. Go ahead and get the modifier set up here. There we go, mirror. And we're going to do that on the x-axis, and we're going to do clipping, and we'll do um, 0.01 meters, and that should make sure that everything stays kind of fused together there. Okay, so I'm first going to make the handle, so we're going to go ahead and put in another edge loop here. And then I'm going to scale these on the y-axis. And then drag them in on the x-axis to kind of give it a little bit more of that round shape that you'd expect with a handle. And then we're definitely going to have to scale this down. Let's go ahead and do that because that's a meter long cube now. So go ahead and scale this. There we go. So that would be now a 10 centimeter cube, which is still, let's see here, 10 centimeters is still the best part of 3 inches. So that's even a little too big there. Let's go ahead and scale this again, and we'll go 0.3. There we go. And that's probably about 1.5 inches, so that's a little too small. Let's scale it up. There we go. Not sure if there's actually like a ruler or anything in here. Measure. There we go. Left mouse anywhere for new measurement. Drag ruler. Select measurement angle. X to active ruler. Control while dragging to snap. Shift while dragging to measure surface thickness. Okay. Let's do this then. 0.08 meters across there. Okay. Perhaps I need to move this over to material measurements because I'm really not used to working in metric. Editing the system and limits. Nope. I imagine it's going to be in interface here. Editors, language, menus. No. I guess I'll have to look and see if there's a way to change this. It's editing. Nope. This is all. Nope. I'll have to do some research on that and see. I'm sure there's probably a way to do it. Snapping. Nope. That's all going to be different. Oh yeah, I'll have to do some research. Okay, for right now, we'll just kind of make it about how you'd expect to shovel, and then we'll go from there. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to move this up. Make a shovel handle. This one's kind of be a long one. You know, kind of like not like a D handle shovel, but you know, it's got like the long handle on it. Probably about like that or so. And then go ahead and we'll grab this vertex and we'll move that up slightly as well to give it that slightly rounded end to it. I'm going to see if I can flip triangulate faces. There we go. There we go. And that'll make it look a little bit more realistic there. Okay, perfect. All right, so that's got that end of it. Let me see. I can grab a shovel here as well. And we'll just get some. There we go. That's kind of what I'm looking for. We'll go ahead and save this. And we'll do handled shovel. Alright. And then we're going to go ahead and we'll add an image. And this one will be under downloads. There we go. Much too big. Oh, and I've forgotten to. Alright, I've forgotten to do this. Yes, that's it. We've got to make sure that we've got it. Goodness, a lot of those in there. All right, there we go. And then we'll go ahead and rotate this 45 degrees. There we go. And then we're going to have to scale it some. That's much too big. There we go. That's about perfect though. All right. Let's go ahead and get into here and you know what? Let's grab this and move it back some. There we go, just so that it's not blocking that. All right. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and extrude this one and scale it just slightly. There we go. So that we've got that little edge there to it. And then let's see here. This is kind of one of those stamped metal ones. So I'm gonna kind of halfway this one. So let's go ahead and we'll extrude this one down like so. And then we'll scale it out on the X like that. And then we're also going to scale it on the Y. There we go, something like that. All right, and then we're going to have to do, actually, yeah, no, that'll work like that. And then we'll extrude another bit there. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and do this one and that one. And we're going to do this along the x-axis, like so. All right. Now to get the curve on this one, we're going to need to put some edge loops into here. So I go for like one right there. And then we'll put a couple more of them right there. There we go. So that we can kind of get that nice curve on there. And then I'm going to go for edge selection. There we go. Do this. And I'm going to go scale X0 to make that back to a straight line there. And then we're going to bring this in a little bit. There we go. Scale 0. That'll kind of, that's a quick way going on there. Zero. I found that that's a great way of flattening out lines, getting rid of an angle, so to speak. And then I can do the same with this. And that just makes sure that these edges are straight. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and we'll drag these in. And kind of give it a little bit of curve like so. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the same with these. There we go. And then let's go ahead and we'll swap back to this viewport here. And we'll go wireframe. Okay. And that just makes sure that I'm selecting these in the back as well. There we go. And this is, I guess, not perfectly aligned. So let's see if we can grab this and move it slightly. There we go. And oh, that's still off a little ways. Oh well. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and drag this in a little bit as well. There we go. All right. That kind of matches that curve a little better there. Like that. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and put this back to solid. Because right now we've just got kind of, you know, it's just flat. That's not actually how shovels are. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll start kind of curving this edge forward here. This back the wireframe in, and I'm going to select those faces. Yeah, yep. And then I'm going to grab those and move them slightly on the y-axis, and then rotate them on the z so they kind of get a little bit more of a curve around it. Probably not. Whoopsie. Not what I want to do. There we go. Apparently y splits that. So, okay. And then there we go. Scale. This is going to be y. There we go. And we'll kind of give that make that nice and straight. All right. See what's that done for us. I'm going to go ahead and figure out how that works. Move that a little bit. There we go. All right. And then back to Y. So see it through the shovel here. There we go. Kind of give that a little bit more of a curve there. And then obviously shovels are never straight up and down this either. So we're going to go back to a wireframe side view like this. And just going to go ahead and start rotating this like that. And grabbing it. And kind of do the same as here. There we go. And then feel like, you know, shovels generally have got a little bit more of a curve to them there. So there we go. Looks a little bit promising. Still kind of flat though, so goes up a bit better. There we go. It still doesn't quite have the amount of belly, so to speak, that I'm looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and grab these central ones here. This one, okay. And going to grab this and move it backwards on the y-axis slightly. A little bit more scooping power. And oh, I should have left those two out of this. There we go. There we go. Looks a little better. Kind of how I would expect it to be. I'm going to drag this back a little ways as well, just so I get a little more separation. We can kind of get in here and check this. So obviously, this portion of it is a little too thick down here. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll drop in there and scale this. And in Blender, you can do shift and then an axis, and that says scale. Like so, if you're moving something or if you're scaling something, you can hit shift and the axis that you don't want to scale it around or move it around, and it'll lock that axis but allow you to scale around the other two. So that works really nicely for, you know, basically getting the edges, not the edges really, but to scale something like that and get it not a uniform scale, or to move something in a flat plane, but not, you know, in and out, so to speak, of the plane. Go ahead and do these, and because these are just vertices, I can just scale those. Normally they don't grow or shrink, so to speak. There we go. That's a little bit more of the curve you expect there. And then I'm going to go ahead and drag this one out. There we go, to give it a little bit more of a soft curve there. There we go. Okay, so I think let's come take a look down here. I'm going to drag those up slightly, just to make sure that comes to a proper point there. There we go. All right. And I almost want to give this a little bit more curve down here. Let's do this. We'll go for wireframe again, and I'm going to select these, and we'll drag that to be on the y-axis like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and put in a loop cut here. There we go. And I'm going to to bring this down about right there. And then we can move those. There we go. And give that a little bit more curve to it. There. Yep. I think I like that. And then I'm going to scale this one just slightly to get that taper. There we go. And then give that a little bit more of a gentle curve. There we go. All right. So that's a basic shovel. Generally you don't really have any curve to a shovel handle, but sometimes you'll have a little bit of a taper to it. And kind of right up here. So I'm gonna go ahead and we'll just do a little bit of that. That in there. And then I'm gonna go ahead and we'll put that one right there. And we're just gonna scale this in just a hair. Just to give it that extra that little bit of extra belly. Check my edges on that side. It looks like it does start a little closer, like right there or so. And there we go. Wonder if this is not quite aligned right. That the handle's crooked. Because that's always a possibility as well. It's wild. All right. Yeah, we're just gonna leave. Let's scale this as well. Slide. There we go. Go back to solid here so I can see the curve on that. Yep, I like that. That's not bad at all. Mm-hmm. Nope. Just looking a little too pinched there. Maybe a little too square. There we go. That's a little better. Okay. Not bad. So obviously, to get these to be like different colors and all that kind of stuff, that's going to be a different, you know, you have to set up textures and unwrap and all that kind of stuff. And I've still got to read some more on that. Wow, we can get particles and stuff on there now too. Material. There we go. And go ahead and we'll delete that because we really don't need that one now. Um, we'll do. There we go. Just allows me to grab a screen still there for my, my thumbnail. Let's go ahead and I'm going to try this. We'll go 2 new materials. And this one's going to be, we'll call this one shovel head. And we'll call this one shovel handle. And there we go. And that just makes sure that their username and convention works well in Unreal. All right. And we'll go base color. Go for a nice black like that. All right, and metallic. We want to increase that up. Roughness. Yeah, something like that. Full alpha, good. All right, and then there we go. And then we assign that to that. And then assign that like that. There we go. And that's kind of a material preview that kind of lets us see a little bit about what that might look like. Let's go ahead and change this to give it a nice wood color. There we go. And honestly, that that right there would work. But I think I'm probably going to end up doing a little bit of tweaking with this and just see if I can kind of give this a little bit more of a like some metal splotching or something on it, and then like a little bit of a wood grain or something on these. But for right now, I think I'm just going to leave that one right there. Okay, good. And you say I want to make sure it's properly got those. Excellent. Okay, well, I think that's going to be it for today. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time. Take care, everyone. Ta-ta.